Hi, this is Patty D. Priest, and welcome to Educate Academy. Today we're going to take a quick look at Team Drives. Team Drives was announced over a year ago, and it is part of Google Drive. You'll notice on my Google Drive I have My Drive, and then under it I have Team Drives. And if I was to click on here, I would pull up all the Team Drives that I'm a member of. Well, Team Drives is a shared space where teams of people, groups of people can store, search, and access files from anywhere, from any device. So what's the difference between it and My Drive? The biggest difference between Team Drives and My Drive files is that the files in Team Drive belong to the team instead of just to you. And so let's say that we as a CATE team are working together, and so we have a lot of files that we all use. We would create possibly a team drive for those files. And even if I created the file, when I put it into Team Drive, that ownership is transferred from me to the team. So even if a member leaves your group or your team, the files stay exactly where they are so that your team can continue to share the information and get the work done. If you're trying to decide whether you should add files to a shared team drive or to a shared folder in Google Drive, you can ask yourself a couple of questions. One is, are the files of interest to most of the members of a particular group or a team? For instance, if you're just teaching a class for a semester and you're sharing files, yes, you can answer yes to that question, but those files are only going to be used for a short amount of time, and then they're going to be disregarded. So they probably would not be considered a good use of team drives. But if you are continually working on curriculum as a curriculum group, and that is an ongoing process, then that might be a good use of team drives. Another question to ask is, do the files share a consistent theme? As I mentioned with curriculum, if those files are part of the curriculum for a certain course or for a certain department, then a team drive for that department for your curriculum is probably warranted. When you create a team drive, the people on the team have different permissions. And if you look at this screen, you'll see that you can give full access, and I'm not exactly sure how the team drives are set up here for the college, but I would imagine that whoever is the head of that team, whether it's a department chair or a head of a committee, would probably have full access to that. You can see all those different things that the person with full access can do. Most people in your team are going to have editing access. They're going to be able to view the files and folders, add comments, create files, and do all those kinds of things that they can do. The things that they're not going to be able to do is going to be to add and remove people to the team drive. They can't change the permissions, they can't move the files or folders, and they definitely can't delete the files and folders. You can add people that will only have access to comment or access to view. And so all those would be set up by us here at CATE when we set up the team. So what if you want to request a team drive be created for your team or group? Well, first you're going to go to the service catalog where you're going to put in your work request. Rather than going to the normal area where you would request support, you're going to come down here to where it says Academic College Support and click. Once that opens, you're going to click on the College of Education and Human Services. Notice it has a link to Team Drive support. You'll click here and request this service. Once you've done that, your subject is going to be Team Drive. Once you've done that, you're going to come down, fill in your name. It should automatically actually fill in your name, and it will put your department. So then you're going to start filling this out. Your primary share contact is going to be who basically is going to be in charge of your team drive. That can be you, that can be somebody else, it can be multiple people, it could be everybody. But remember, from what we talked about, whoever is your primary has access to do everything within that team drive, basically except delete the team drive. Oh, and move folders. Put their name in here, their email address, and get their M number. That way we make sure that we are getting the right people. You're going to put in the name that you want the drive to be named. And so if it is for a curriculum committee, you would maybe put curriculum committee for your department, whatever the name is. And then you're going to put in the users that you want to have editing access. Remember, we talked about the accesses. This is going to be your full access, and this is going to be your editing. Once you come down here, you can add people that only have view and comment permissions, and then this person or people, these would only have the permission to actually view the documents that are in there. If you need training on this, you would request individual or group training. You would put in the date that you need this to be done by and any additional information that you would need, as well as click request. Once this is done, obviously the Kate Tech guys will get this request and they'll set this up for you and be in contact. All right, so once the team drive is set up, you would be able to go in and create the files and folders, add things to it that you already have on your own Google Drive or your hard drive that you need the team to have access to, and edit those files depending on your permissions. You can add any kind of file pretty much to a team drive that you would also be able to add to a regular Google Drive. And so you can upload it, as I said, from your computer and bring it in from your regular Google My Drive. In order to delete those files once they're there, then you would have to find whoever has the full access and ask them, if you don't have it, to delete that file or folder for you. Now, moving an entire folder from Google Drive to your team drive also takes extra permission, and it probably would need to be done through a work order. It's not something even the person with full access can do. All of the files that you add to your team drive are automatically shared with the entire team, and all of the permission as far as ownership is given to the entire team. It is not just your file. In order to share a file, you must have either full or edit access. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me, as well as Cooper or Eric. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit more about team drives.